let's move on to somebody else who, look, I don't want to call it a midlife crisis because I don't know how old this next man is. But Asteroid City by Wes Anderson, we're going to be doing a much bigger discussion because I'm going to be sitting down with Zach and he's going to be explaining to me the missed beauty that I had in Asteroid City. A movie that I do respect completely because it has a really great beginning. Oh, I was seated back for that beginning. I thought my man was going to go fully in. He is killing it in terms of the dialogue that he had in that intro. Everything was so fast paced. The opening credits, the way he was just blocking everything within this Asteroid City. There's even an element to it that you kind of teased to me, and I don't want to spoil for the audience, that I was like, okay, he's going to do something new. Completely lost me in that second act. The third act almost got me back. But there are elements to this movie where I'm like, we're just getting the Wes Anderson version of what we've already seen other big movies do, in my opinion. But Zach, you really vibed with it, so tell me more about Wes Anderson's Asteroid City.
Yeah, Asteroid City. For me, it's a return to form for Anderson, who's one of my favorite filmmakers. I'd say you probably could put him among your favorite filmmakers as well.
Even if he's raw.
Yeah, I mean, he's an undeniable talent in many ways. And this latest one has a lot of the usual things going for it in that it all looks pristine. The production design details are immaculate. It's got an incredible cast, and a lot of them are doing like really stellar work here. But to me, I think the thing that makes this one special in terms of Wes Anderson films is that for me, like, obviously, the characters are very stilted and very emotionally reserved in all of his movies, but there are those windows into their emotional state that I think help these movies transcend. And like, to me, the best moment in any Wes Anderson movie ever is towards the end of Royal Tenenbaums when he says, "It's been a really hard year, Dad," and it's just sort of that like little peek into the pain that is informing how this character acts throughout the rest of the movie that it's so like beautiful and piercing and feels kind of true in a way where I think a lot of people keep their emotions sort of reserved and inner when they can, or at least in like, you know, in a lot of situations at least. This is another film where it's about these people who have all their different complications, all their different heartaches or grief or whatever, and they are nonetheless kind of pushing forward and not like sitting back and reassessing. And I think this is a movie sort of about like what those types of people are like, what lingering pain does to people. And in a way, it's also about like all the characters that Wes Anderson has created throughout his career. And it feels with its little like meta moments in revealing that this is kind of like a play happening within this world, and talking about actors and directors and actors doing things that are in the script, even if they don't necessarily know what they're about. To me, it feels like Anderson talking about his career and the reasons that he does things the way he does. So I don't know. I think there's like a lot of little interesting things to pull. I think the writing in this one in particular is really, really precise. Lines like, my mom's not into astronomy, she's into stardom. Just like very subtly, very clever. And yeah, I mean, I just, you know, I've never wavered on my love for him as a visual artist, but sometimes I feel like the scripts don't have like that through line that really allows me to hook into it. And for whatever reason, I found it here. I know it's like hard to kind of like dig at it through all the different layers that Anderson packs onto his movies. Like I saw someone say that this is basically Barbie meets Oppenheimer because you get atom bombs and pastel colors. But it's like it just adds to the beauty of what he can do that is so singular because it's so dense, yet when you know where to look, you can penetrate it.
Yeah. I don't think there's a bad performance in this movie. Obviously, there's that stilted way of the way he directs them, but with directors like him and Yorgos, I can see what he's getting out of his actors. I think they all do a great job. I think the setup for the story is really good. Yeah. And I love the world that he created here. You got Steve Carell selling lots of plots of land that turn out are not really selling, but they're renting. There's a lot of little things that he puts throughout this movie. There's something about the basis of the story, like you said, where you want to get into Wes Anderson and what he's saying about Wes Anderson
Yeah.
and the characters that he's made, but also hasn't made, that we're seeing for the first time in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like a retroact. There's a line in the movie that I won't spoil that they repeat a lot at the end of the movie. It just becomes this mantra. And for directors like Wes Anderson, it's something that they need to hear. But for directors who did not have the opportunities like Wes Anderson, it's not something they've ever needed to hear. So I feel like it's a reckoning for Wes Anderson that I wish I connected with more. I'd just rather him make his movies. I'd rather him make all the other stuff. The introspective stuff is decent. It's cool.
Yeah.
I liked it when it came from the younger characters. Mm-hmm. That, you know, these kids can have all this stuff happening around them, but at the end of it, Chicken Nugget Kid, who shout out him, he did a fantastic job in the movie. Alongside, like, I want to call her Natalie Morales, but it's this new younger actress who somehow is the daughter of Scarlett Johansson. You know, I'll leave all of that other stuff there. I enjoyed it when he was looking at it from that youthful perspective. He obviously delivers when he's talking about the older cast, and as you were mentioning, who are actors playing actors to a degree, where he is speaking about the filmmaking side of it and just the pain and turmoil that comes with trying to create art and maybe understanding it or maybe not even understanding it, which I do. Look, as someone who didn't fully connect as much as you did, I don't like the people who are trying to say is like, oh, well, he said that there's no meaning to it, so there's no meaning to it. I do respect someone being willing to come out and almost question the idea of like, what is the meaning of this? Do I have the purpose within my movies that I'm supposed to be having? Do my actors understand it? Do I even fully understand it? I think that's wrong. I also don't fully need it from Wes Anderson because I think Wes Anderson's already been set. Look, who's the lead in this movie?
I mean, Schwartzman, no?
Mm-hmm. Nephew of? Exactly.
Yeah, he's in the Coppola family.
Exactly. You got Roman Coppola writing this movie as well. They went to high school together, college together. I think there's a completely different outlook from a man who has characters. And again, we'll have a whole after credits for this, where I guess he's now getting into the side of characters and elements that he's never had to worry about in the past. Mm-hmm. And I think that we've had a lot of directors in movies that have covered certain things. Even with the breaking the fourth wall, there is one actor in here who's kind of narrating, who does this bit. And I'm like, we've been seeing this joke in movies for years now. And Wes Anderson's like, but I haven't done one. So when he did it, I'm like, bro, if he would have done this in 2012, oh my goodness, it would have killed. Yeah. But at this point, I'm like, okay, this is his Deadpool moment. I am excited to talk about it more because I did like how you broke it down. Mm-hmm. And I know Amanda also really liked it, and hopefully we have her on for it. And you were even mentioning our buddy Taylor made a really in-depth video about it as well.
Yeah, shout out Taylor J. Williams.
Because, look, it's not... He's never going to make a bad movie. It's just about how much you connect with it. Because I'm a person who did not dislike his previous one, which...
French Dispatch, yeah.
Yeah, Zach came home, ripped the posters, and I was like, damn, bro, wasn't that bad.
I gave it 3 stars.
To me, they're very similar, though. Like... I think that it has a similar pacing, a similar approach to its characters, and I think that what you're saying, where it's like it's not on the outside of how the characters act, but it's really on the inside, and this through line of what they've been carrying with them. You know, one's about a city and these actors playing actors, and the other one was about a newspaper. I still think they're very similar in that sense.
Yeah.
Even similar posters, damn.
Okay. Totally. I think one thing that ultimately helped me enjoy Asteroid City a bit more than the French Dispatch is that French Dispatch kind of is this like collection of stories. It feels almost more anthological, whereas this is still like an ensemble piece, but it's still centered around one thing, and that kind of like that kind of cohesive element to it maybe helped me a little bit, because even with a film like Grand Budapest, that is really sprawling in its scope. So I kind of liked seeing him hone in on like almost one location and seeing what happens when these characters are, rather than like going out and doing other things, are trapped here. But you know, that's the thing about Wes Anderson movies, is that like ultimately it's like shades of different elements, and people respond to the shades that they like more. But I agree with you. I don't think there is a bad Wes Anderson movie out there, even if some of them are not ones that I revisit very often.
It's just whatever you click with. So Asteroid City, it is out in theaters. Make sure you find a good screening of this, because it has different aspect ratios, and there were certain parts for me where a lot of the subtitles were cut. And yeah, that's not really cool. So if you can find a really good one, the colors are immaculate. The framing is really good, and I would say even the sound design for this, because he's got a lot of different elements. Because there's stop motion, and there's not just live action stuff, but it's changing colors from black and white to their actual setting and such, and it really has this like nesting doll effect to it on where you are in the story. So I'm curious to know people's thoughts on this. I still think it's worth going out to a theater just because of the way that he shoots it.
Any favorite performance other than maybe like Jason Schwartzman and Scarlett Johansson? Since
Chicken Nugget Kid, I should know his name, right? To be respectful, is it Jake Ryan?
Maybe. I think it's Jake Ryan. He's really good.
He's Chicken Nugget Kid in my heart, though.
Yeah,
Look at him.
yeah.
Oh, what a stacked cat! Oh, dude, this boy has been on a run. Really good for him, man. I think he really embodied like. Again, and I do find that interesting in the movie. His father, who's not really his father, but the performance of his father that he's in it. I would have liked to see a little bit more of the kids in the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I think I would have liked that more. But besides them, Tilda Swinton had some really good lines that
Tilda Swinton's great.
She was able to bring in towards the end. Maya Hawke.
Oh, yeah.
Maya Hawke.
Kind of a small role, but really, really
good.
Delightful.
Yeah, as the teacher who's taking care of these kids who are also kind of trapped in this asteroid city. And who plays the, let's just call him, extraterrestrial. That was pretty funny. Go ahead.
You know who I love in these movies? Because he's also really excellent in French Dispatch. But I think Jeffrey Wright just has this like really excellent grasp of the Wes Anderson tone. And his voice is so beautiful delivering Wes Anderson style dialogue. Just like I would listen to him give like a 30-minute speech as one of those characters. He's so good.
He's too good in the French Dispatch. Too good in that movie.
Yeah.
Which is one of the big reasons why I like that movie.
Yeah, he's the best part of it in my eyes.
Easily. To say like, oh yeah, you still gave it 10 out of 10, but boy, what you were doing over there, that was great. I like how he's now just become a part of the family. So like 5 movies down the line, it's just like he was always there. Always there now. Same thing with Tony. One of the last ones I will give, because I don't want to, Tom Hanks was freaking phenomenal in this movie. There is a line that he tells Jason Schwartzman because he's playing his father-in-law about timing.
Yeah.
I was strapped in for this to be Moonrise Kingdom. I was strapped in for this to be Grand Budapest Hotel. And at the beginning, I'm not going to lie, it almost got me there. I will, maybe on a rewatch, like the second one, the second act even more after we have more of our discussions. But dude, Tom Hanks was killing it at the beginning.
He's one of those actors that like feels so perfect for how Wes Anderson makes his movies. It's a wonder that they've never worked together in the past. But like as soon as he shows
like they have.
Right, as soon as he shows up, it's like perfect. They were always meant to do something like this together.
Did he just swap out with Bill?
No, you know who actually did swap out with Bill is Steve Carell. Bill Murray came down with COVID before the production began, and they had Steve Carell join the cast.
Steve was good.
Yeah, Steve's really good.
Decent in it. Yeah, Steve made me want to actually visit Asteroid City and those vending machines. But that is Asteroid City out in theaters now. I mean, you give it a glowing review. You would definitely say this is a opening weekend movie for people to watch.
Absolutely. Look for it wherever you can.
And we'll be having an after credits, so catch it so that we can go full spoilers very, very soon.